A black male collective was attacked by a racist Zoom bombing last week.
Coming up, the 1-year anniversary of COVID and its effect on restaurants. Stick with us.
As vaccine rollouts continue, new venues for the administration of the vaccine continue to pop up. On the east side of San Jose at the Mexican Heritage Plaza, vaccines are being distributed.
We plan on running it. We don't have an end date. Our goal is to vaccinate all the community.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Shuri Marwaha.
And I'm Kenya Caballero.
Today we have live reports from Nashville, Southern California, Antioch, and San Jose.
San Jose State University officials are warning everyone who organizes Zoom meetings to take precautions against intruder attacks. This after SJSU Black Male Collective event was racially targeted over a Zoom last Friday. It was the first talk of the semester for the Black Male Collective when someone joined Zoom call and made racist remarks. Chief of Diversity Officer Caitlin Wong sent a statement to the students and faculty saying, I'll quote her, "These racist attacks are an attack on the Black campus community and the values we hold dear. No one should be subject to this type of heinous activity." In the same statement, Wong encourages everyone to review the tips to secure Zoom meetings, keep meetings URLs private, have a password that people need in order to join, lock meetings, and use waiting rooms. SJSU spokesperson Ken Masenshi says that IT department is always looking for ways to make online campus community safe, and he stresses the importance of the tips to secure Zoom meetings.
Those steps are so important to do to make sure that the people who are supposed to be in the Zoom meeting, for whatever reason, it may be an event or a class, are in there, and you can try and avoid these types of Zoom bombing incidents.
Both the IT department and the police department are investigating this incident.
Turning to COVID coverage, Santa Clara County is back in the red tier. That means the SRAC and Dining Center will reopen the next few weeks. SJSU is planning to bring back in-person classes for the fall semester. Mickey Adams is live on campus with more. Mickey?
Campus is much quieter than you may remember. And after a year of taking online classes, most people are about ready to come back. However, not everything is going to be the same when we return in the fall.
New rules and precautions are being put in place to ensure that everyone on campus will be as safe as possible. Required masking and social distancing will be in effect in classrooms, meaning that several classes will require larger rooms to accommodate the space between students.
I'm excited about it. I didn't get to experience San Jose State as an open campus, so that'll be very cool to experience once we're back.
However, the availability and size of classes will not be affected. While great for students trying to graduate, this creates the problem of proper social distance on a full campus.
One possible solution is the hybridization of courses, where part of the course is taught on campus and the rest at home.
Obviously, we should be trying to do things as safely as possible and minimizing risk, but at the same time still working towards being like an open campus again.
The administration is considering using spaces such as conference rooms or renting off-campus space for classes.
If it's get your classes in the building you've been doing it in for the last 3.5 years, or if it's a block over, or if it's in a different building on the campus, we want you to be able to get your classes.
Vaccination will not be required for students or faculty in the coming semester.
Our focus as we go into the fall is going to be to try and make sure that we're managing spread relative to versus getting everybody vaccinated.
All of these regulations are going to be put in place at the start of the semester, but there is room to improve depending on how COVID numbers drop. We won't know exactly how it will all work until the fall semester begins, but for a lot of students, anything is better than being stuck on Zoom.
This past year has been tough and rough, but it is temporary, so I'm glad that there will be this kind of final, or this light at the end of the tunnel that's coming closer to us.
That's how things look right now, but with significant drops in COVID numbers over the summer, we could see more classes and more activities and events open up on campus for the fall. Live on campus, Mickey Adams, Update News.
Thank you, Mickey. Well, according to the Santa Clara County Health Department, 1/3 of the COVID cases here affect Latino residents. So the county is partnering up with Garner Health Service to provide a vaccination clinic at the Mexican Heritage Plaza here in San Jose.
In a community where minorities are likely to get infected, Santa Clara County has opened this no-appointment clinic. It's located on the east side to help vaccinate the community.
We have a wristband system where in the morning at 9 a.m. we start distributing wristbands with a specific time on it, and then that's when people come back when it's their time.
People are required to fill out paperwork and present a photo ID in order to determine their eligibility to receive the vaccine.
We don't check any immigration status. It's just anything with a picture on it and your date of birth is what we require.
At the moment, people who are 65, healthcare workers, or present any medical conditions, as well as teachers, qualify to receive the vaccine.
So over the last couple weeks, we've been averaging about 250 vaccines.
Guillermo Mendoza qualified to receive it. He says that the process was fast and easy.
When I got here, I picked up the paperwork and I left home to eat breakfast. And I was there with my son until it was time to return. I came back and received the help right away.
Mendoza advises people to take advantage of the opportunity that is being presented to them.
Get your shot. Don't listen to the rumors. It's simply like a shot for the flu. If you don't get the flu vaccine, you will get the flu. If you don't get the COVID vaccine, the virus can attack you.
Many people are afraid to receive the vaccine due to the possible side effects, but that's not the case for everyone.
Let's take the risk. It's not worse than losing our life. We have lost 500,000 people. We need to take into consideration others and not let more people die.
Noemi Moreno says that if that's still not a good reason for you to get vaccinated,
do it for your good and your families.
The second doses have already been scheduled for the patients. They are set to return in 2 months from the time they receive their first dose.
The hours of the clinic have been extended to 3 days a week to better help serve the community.
March 17th will mark the 1-year anniversary of the first stay-at-home orders in the Bay Area. Many businesses, especially eating and drinking establishments, have struggled to keep themselves open. Jeronica Winwan has more on the story.
Thanks, Shiri. As of today, indoor dining has resumed at 25% capacity. Even though many people miss dining out, no one wants restaurants open more than the people who work there.
It's hard enough to own a business, but add in a pandemic and the difficulties increase tenfold. Craig Gwines owns Blue Water Seafood and Crab. Like many other restaurant owners in San Jose, Gwines did what he could to keep his business afloat.
Obviously, no one's making any money during a pandemic. We were just trying to make enough to survive and then thrive later on.
Due to the pandemic, restaurants have been on a roller coaster, dealing with closures and reopenings. Everyone in the food and service industry has been hit with a wave of uncertainty, from owners, managers, servers, and cooks. Brian Bugarin is a manager at Blue Water. He feels bad for the industry as a whole.
Because you think you're, going to be getting back to work. In reality, you're going to be getting back to unemployment.
With even outdoor dining in question, restaurants have relied on to-go services. Even though servers and bartenders weren't required, kitchen staff didn't have to experience the same type of cutbacks. Most were able to keep working, but with fewer people in the kitchen.
1 or 2 persons a shift, because we're not as busy as we used to be.
2020 was meant to mark the opening of Blue Water's second location, but like many others, Gwines has had to make some tough calls.
Then I had to make a decision on the old restaurant and the new restaurant, and I had to sacrifice one to save the other.
According to the National Restaurant Association, more than 110,000 eating and drinking establishments have closed down either temporarily or permanently due to COVID-19.
Restaurants in the past few decades have never dealt with anything like the pandemic. It's left many owners having to reimagine how they want to conduct their businesses. One thing people in the food industry are sure of, it's going to be a whole different playing field for the restaurants that remain.
I think you will see a lot of companies reevaluating the way they want to go about it but I think the blueprint for restaurants is going to downsize.
Blue Water has had to cut their staff multiple times depending on if they were allowed to be open or not. They're hopeful that these coming months will allow for indoor dining to resume. Live in San Jose, Veronica Vinluan, Update News.
Thank you, Jay. Well, we're hoping that the situation gets better for them. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll have more news for you.
Online dating has always been a popular way for people to meet, but with less opportunities to meet in public, it has skyrocketed in use.
Like, everyone was so bored and home, and there was no way to meet people, so I think a lot of people were swiping.
And businesses get a breath of fresh air as they take to the streets to sell their products. Update News returns in just a minute.
One year after the start of the COVID pandemic, farmers market in the Bay Area are seeing a surge in foot traffic. Some merchants say business is better than ever. Darwin Sequian, live in Antioch with more. Darwin?
Theory. The COVID pandemic made everything feel as if things would never go back to normal. 1 year later, a taste of a world pre-COVID is at the Martinez Farmers Market. The COVID pandemic made everything feel as if things would never go back to normal. 1 year later, a taste of the world pre-COVID is here at the Martinez Farmers Market. On a Sunday morning, vendors and customers alike take their places on Main Street. In the open air, businesses seize their chance to sell their wares.
Like this, the standard paper mask life, and then
Handmade by Teresa is a business built at markets for over a decade. During the pandemic, she was forced to shut down until she found another product relevant for the time.
And when COVID started, I came out, I was only allowed to sell masks because it was only essential workers, and masks were essential.
Individual businesses have been forced to rethink their business models under socially distant restrictions. But in spite of that, customers are now enjoying a responsible time out.
So downtown Martinez used to never be very busy, but nowadays it's pretty busy and all the restaurants are remaining open and doing outside seating and whatnot.
The Pacific Coast Farmers Market Association has been running more than 50 farmers markets in the Bay Area since 1988, supporting small businesses like Donna's Tamales. Yusuf Bey runs the Wooden Spoon Bakery and Cafe Table, a family business whose prime demographic is the foot traffic at open-air markets.
One of our first weekends we did actually very well, in a long time, which felt good. It was in Pinole Market yesterday, almost sold out. We haven't did that in almost 6 months, 7 months.
Bey has been tabling at the Martinez Farmers Market for the last 2.5 years. He's experienced the full brunt of the pandemic on his business, but is glad for the resurgence of consumers. The Martinez Farmers Market is open for business every Sunday and year-round from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Live in Antioch, Darwin Sequian, Update News.
Thank you, Darwin. In a pandemic, dating can be a challenge. Technology can help, but Update News reporter Rachel Tate is here to warn you of the dangers. She's live in Asheville. Rachel?
Kenya, due to busy schedules and the coronavirus, the number of dating app users is at an all-time high.
Online dating is a growing business. Dating apps such as Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and Plenty of Fish have become very popular among the younger generation. 21-year-old Jordan Kane says she started using the popular dating app Tinder a lot more when the pandemic first started.
Like, everyone was so bored and home, and there was no way to meet people, so I think a lot of people were swiping, doing stuff in that way to connect.
Payne recommends texting the person for a couple days before deciding to meet up with them and making sure they know what you are looking for. Bartender Sabrina Jean says she always keeps an eye out for girls who look uncomfortable at her bar.
Owners, managers would teach us as servers, bartenders, etc., that to keep your eyes out and to listen, to look at those types of things.
Jean says she doesn't hesitate to help.
Like, you're not going to see a puppy in the middle of a street and just say, oh, well, that sucks. Like, no, you're going to try and help the puppy in the middle of the street.
Nashville bar owner Leah McCormick recently wrote a post on Facebook that has gotten a lot of attention. McCormick wrote, "If you ever feel unsafe or want us to watch your drink while you use the restroom, please let my staff know or message me before your blind date."
But they need to be able to reach out to somebody, and if I can create that trust or just put that out there that, hey, if you need somebody, if you're in a situation, please let us know. We are happy to help you.
McCormick owns the Sandbar. She's one of the few female bar owners and says she understands the challenges females face that some people don't even think about.
I told girls that if they want to message me before a date just to give me a heads up, that's fine. But I've also done training with my staff to watch tables and watch people.
McCormick says she has had a lot of girls reach out to her since the Facebook post, and she is so glad that it was able to reach that many people.
Many users, especially young women, have reported being harassed or sent explicit messages through apps like Tinder or Hinge. It's important to always be wary when meeting people online. Live in Nashville, Rachel Tate, Update News.
Thank you, Rachel. Now we have Joshua Gilman, our student meteorologist.
He's at home in Southern California this semester, but he's looking out for all of us in North Cal. Joshua, what's in the forecast?
Overall, most of the continental United States has clear skies, as we can see by this satellite image. However, if we take a closer look though, the only parts of the country with cloud cover are California and Nevada. This is because of a subtle low pressure system that swept through the area, bringing about a quarter of an inch of rain. Now, another low pressure system will be moving into Northern California early next week, and this will be bringing possibly several days of rain into the Bay Area. Tuesday is looking like the main day of rain, with total amounts of precipitation being about 3/4 of an inch. Now, going into the 5-day forecast, starting in Santa Cruz, the high temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s, with Saturday and Sunday being at 61 degrees, and the low temperatures will be in the upper 30s. In San Francisco, highs are going to be consistently in the upper 50s, and lows will be in the mid 40s. There's a moderate chance of rain on Monday and Wednesday, but Tuesday will have the highest chance of rainfall. Now, in Oakland, the high temperatures will be in the upper 50s to low 60s, and the low temperatures are going to be in the mid 40s. Finally, in San Jose, the high temperatures are going to be in the low 60s, and the lows will mainly be in the upper 30s and lower 40s. The coldest night will be on Saturday at 36 degrees. Ooh, chilly. And likewise to the rest of the Bay Area, Monday and Wednesday will see some showers, but the main day of rain will be on Tuesday, right now forecasted at a 70% chance of rain. That's all I have for you right now, and enjoy the storm systems coming through next week.
Thank you, Joshua. I'll definitely have my sweater ready. When we come back, we'll have a look at the SJSU events for the upcoming week.
And Ivan Garcia will be here with sports.
JJ Watt leaves Texas after a long ride for big money. Stay with us.
At San Jose State University,
we discover who we want to be. For ourselves,
for our families,
for our communities.
Different and unexpected.
Begin here.
At the heart of a transforming valley, in a city that is tough and beautiful.
We are Spartans.
What powers us changes our world.
Ivan Garcia is here with sports.
Are you excited sports is back again, Ivan?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. Baseball is back. Well, sort of. Spring training started back up February 28th, and as it stands, it will be a full 162-game season. When baseball started back up last July after the COVID shutdown, teams were only allowed to play local teams or teams within their own division. There still remains a question on fans being allowed to go to games, and if so, would they be limited? Defensive end J.J. Watt finally made his decision and chose to sign a 2-year deal worth $31 million with the Arizona Cardinals. Watt spent his entire 10-year career with the Houston Texans before joining former teammate DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona. The two played for the Texans for 7 seasons before Hopkins was traded to the Cardinals before the start of the 2020 season. With rumors of quarterback Russell Wilson wanting to leave the Seattle Seahawks, will the addition of J.J. Watt to a division opponent further persuade him to leave? The 2021 NBA All-Star event takes place this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This event normally would happen over the course of the weekend, but due to COVID, all events will be played in one day. Stephen Curry will play in his 7th All-Star game and was the only Warriors player voted as an All-Star. Curry will also play in the 3-point contest, which will take place right before the All-Star game. And that's all I have for sports. Governor Gavin Newsom said yesterday that he expects to have fans at baseball games, and I hope so. I miss going to the ball games.
Thank you, Ivan. Finally today, if you feel stuck at home during this pandemic, here are some things to keep you busy.
Join a Daybreaker Live to celebrate the Women's Month on Saturday with live performances and dances.
Let's celebrate women with Free Gay Fraternity UK, hosted by Sutara and guest speakers. The event is free on the 8th and tickets are available on Eventbrite.
Socala Public Square is holding an online conversation about whether or not women's movement can save the world. The event starts at 4:30 on the 8th. These are just a handful of the many events honoring women to kick off the National Women's Month.
And that does it all for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us, thanks for joining us and see you next week.